Welcome back to the shop. Hey, today I'm going to do something that I really didn't think I needed to do again, but I was contacted a few weeks back about somebody wanted a more in-depth video on lacing a wheel. And I've been kind of reluctant to do this because I've done quite a few and maybe I didn't go into it enough, but I've done quite a few of them and nobody watched them. So maybe it's because I didn't go in enough in depth. So we're going to try it one more time, and hopefully this will be a better representation of the project. So with that in mind, let's get on with it here. Let me show you a couple things. Today I'm going to do a 21-inch front wheel that I'm putting on the Yamaha 125 MX. And I just received my wheel. I think I mentioned in a previous video that I'd got one, or I'd laced it up. I'd been using the old wheel off the TS1 or TS250 and found out it was bent. So I ordered up a couple more because they got to come from Thailand, so I just ordered an extra. And I'm so pleased every time I order this. I think it's AT-1 that I get from Thailand, and these things show up in 2 weeks or less. Sometimes we can't get stuff from one coast to the other in that amount of time. And these things show up, they're always in one piece, and I'm just amazed at the service I get. And another thing I did with him, he's an eBay vendor, but I wasn't seeing what I wanted exactly. I just wanted two 21-inch wheels, 1.60 wide, 36 hole. And I clicked on one of the other links for a 18 and a 21-inch, and I just contacted the seller and told him what I wanted, and he come right back within probably a half hour and said, I'll send you whatever you want, just click on this one to buy it, and I will include what you asked me for in the box. And it was sent, it already had a tracking number that day. And they show up in my part of the country, DHL. So it's very quick. Anyhow, let's get on with the with lacing of the wheel here. A couple things I want to go through first. Okay, I've got the wheel and the rim sitting here. And one thing that I've noticed is the spoke nipples. If you order, more than likely, if you order a set off eBay or something from the original manufacturer, they're going to be the right size. But are they the right size for the aftermarket rim that you have? That's the question. Now, there's basically, with the wheels that I'm dealing with, there's basically two different ones that I have to keep. And usually I have 10 gauge spokes for these Jap bikes, and there are basically two different nipple sizes. And you have one that is a 1/4 inch measured down here on the round part. I think you can see that. And then the other one is a little smaller at 238 or 0.238. And what does that mean? Well, I can get both of them in the hole. This is the big one. This is the 1/4 inch one. It goes in the hole, but it doesn't move much. And here's the smaller one. it goes in the hole and you got lots of movement. That's the one I need. Actually, it goes in this way, as you know. I was just trying to show you here. But if it fits in the hole too tight, you'll never get it to tighten up. You won't even get all the spokes in. There's just not enough play for it to move around when you start hooking them all up to the hub. So you need to get the one. If you're ordering spokes, like from Buchanan's, just measure the hole and tell them what size it is, and they'll know what size spokes to include. But for this one, it's going to be the smaller spoke nipples. So I'm just going to put the larger ones aside so I don't grab the wrong ones. And you get a bottle of lubricant with those. And I don't know what kind of lubricant it is. I usually get my spokes these days from Buchanan's because you can't find a full set from the OEM anymore. And when you're doing a project like this, I know that most of the time they have a card at Buchanan's that tells them how to make the spokes for a wheel. But in this case, instead of an 18-inch or a 19-inch for the front, I'm putting a 21 on. So they're going to know if it's an 18-inch, they're going to add, I don't know what they add, probably an inch and a half, because 21's 3 inches bigger, so you cut it in half. So they're going to add an inch and a half to each spoke. I'm not real sure how they've got a formula. But my point is that since this is not an OEM wheel going on this hub, it's not what came from the factory. Through a company like Buchanan's, they will know how to size it correctly so I get the right parts. Okay, the next thing I want to cover is an inside spoke versus an outside spoke. Now, hopefully you can see this. I've got two different spokes here. Look at the bend. Let me quit moving them around here. Get a way to hold them. You can see this one on this side curves more than 90 degrees. This one here a little bit less than 90. So this is the spoke that you're going to put on the inside. This is an outside spoke. And why is that? Let me show you. Okay, if I put this spoke in from the inside, and just see how it fits on the hub here. It doesn't go down. It sticks up. So that is an inside spoke. This is an outside spoke. It's the one that has more of a 90. And when you stick it in, you'll see that now this spoke bends down. It's got to go over the top of the hub here. And see, that will go toward the center of the rim here now, where the other one won't do that. So that's how you can kind of tell. Now if you're working on a rear hub that may be conical, otherwise one side is smaller in diameter than the other, then you're going to have an inside and an outside spoke and a long and a short spoke. But the long and the short are still going to be inside and outside. They're just, some of them are going to be shorter than the others. And of course the long ones are going to go to the small diameter hub or side of the hub, and the the shorter ones will go to the larger diameter side. But in this case, both sides are the same. So all we have to worry about are inside and outside. So again, the ones with the more than 90 degree are your outside spokes. They're going to go in last. And they're going to come in this way and go down. You're going to deal with your inside first. Okay, why are they outside spokes? Because it's on the outside of the wheel. This one, oops, this one is on the inside, so it goes to the it's inside and outside. That's what it is. So this one goes to the inside, this one goes to the outside. And it's the one that bends down toward the center. And if you put this one in the same way, it won't. See the difference? Okay. Okay, the next step we've got to do is we've got to start lacing the wheel. And where do you start? Well, I'm going to start without the rim first. I'm going to set the rim side. And if you've got a used hub, it's best. Now this one, these are, the front ones are a little harder to tell where they were in before. But if you look into the hole, let's see, right here, right over here, you can see where the spoke has pulled the aluminum this way. Okay, so that's going to be your outside spoke. So one side or the other here is going to be an inside, either way. So you take your spokes that are less than 90, and this is where the outside spoke is. A lot of times you'll be able to see a mark over the top here too, but not in this case. It's usually on the back ones. So that's where this spoke is going to go over the top. Oh, I got the wrong spoke to do it with though. But anyhow, that's where the outside one is going to come over the top. So we're not even going to worry about that one right now. We're going to start in one of the other holes. So first thing you want to do is I'm doing it backwards here, is get them all in this way. So separate your spokes so that you've got all the inside spokes first, the ones less than 90. And you're going to start putting those in, every other hole. Okay, got one in every hole there. I'm going to turn it over. And we're going to start on the other side. Now here, on this side, you can see two places. Right here in the hole, you can see an indentation where it's pulled the metal, and also across the top, right there. You can tell, so that is a outside one. So on this side, you're going to start right here because you know this is an outside one. So really you're going to split them each time. You've got one here on this side, so it's going to be just to the side. It's not going to be straight across for the next one. Okay, now with those, again, it's going to be every other hole. Oops. Okay, the next thing, once you've got them all in, every other hole, run the bottom ones in this case, run them all kind of in this direction, and the top ones, run them in that direction. They don't have to be perfect, they just need to be running the different way. Now, first thing you want to do on your rim is to find your valve stem hole right here. Now that's my beginning spot. I'm going to start on one or the other side of that hole. It doesn't matter where it is or which one you start with. It's just that's where you're going to start. And you look at the direction of the hole. Let's see here. You see how this one is pointing up this way. This one points down. Okay, now to start this thing, just deal with one side at a time, otherwise the top or the bottom. In this case, I'm going to start with the bottom. I've got my valve stem hole right here, and I'm taking one of the lower spokes, and I'm going to start it right there. Make sure you get your oil on it. Just start it. You don't need to run the nipple up a long way or anything. Now, find your next spoke, and you count over 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to have 3 empty ones, and then on the fourth one, it's going to go in that other bottom hole on the rim. See, these are bottom holes, these are upper holes. I'm not sure whether you're seeing everything. Maybe you are. Okay. Now, same thing. 1, 2, 3, and in the fourth hole, 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, 4. Again, there's 3. You skip 3, and it's the fourth one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just follow that pattern all the way around. Okay, once you've got that done, you take your top spokes here, and the first one should be right here at the valve stem. You've got to kind of keep this twisted so everything falls in line. Okay, now the pattern is you're going to have a spoke right next to one another each time. You see how this is working now? I've got 2 here and 2 here. So you just try to complete that pattern. Now we're going to get our next one is going to go in here. So just keep that pattern. So now we've got all our uppers and our lowers in. Just kind of twist it, the hub. That way everything, you can see a pattern here where you're crossing each other right here. These are all crossed and they're the same. You've got two together here. You've got your first one. First one was the lower, and your second one here is the upper. And it follows the same pattern all the way around. Just make sure the ones from the bottom in this case go to the bottom looking nipple holes, and the ones from this side, the one that's facing you, go to the nipples that are facing more up. It's directly in line. So if you stay in line with everything, you're good to go. Always remember your lubricant, because if you don't have the lubricant on there, you can gall those threads, and then you've got a problem. Now, we're at this point, whereas we're going to need to start putting in the other spokes. Okay, at this point, it's much easier because you've got a pattern that you can see. So when we first start putting the outside spokes in, I always slide it over to the edge of the table like this. That way I've got a way to put them in. And these I'm going to put in lubricated before I put them in. And you're going to just start at one of the holes that's vacant there, and it comes over, and you're looking for an upward looking eye, and that one you're going to find right there. So we're going to get a spoke and a nipple going there. Now you're looking for the next one. See, just move this, and that way you can stay. It's easy to put in this way. You can stay over the empty side of your table here. And again, upward looking eye right next to it. And just go to the next one. You notice we're just doing one side right now. We'll do the other side when we're done with this one. Just try to keep each step separated. Okay, you see the pattern. And just flip it over, and you start your new one, your next one the same way. Lubricant. And it goes right where it looks like it should. And just keep going, utilizing the same pattern. It's very easy to keep going now because there's really no mistake in where the next one goes. And it's always nice to get your last one in there, and everything looks like it should. Okay. This time it's still pretty floppy. And the next thing we're going to do is get it in the truing stand and start truing it up. I've got the stand right here. Okay, so we've got the rim up in the truing stand here. It's pretty rickety yet, but we're going to take care of that pretty quick. But that's how we start, and you can tell by if you just keep your steps separate and be methodical about each one. Just watch it come. It becomes apparent where everything goes, and as long as you keep that pattern of whatever step you're in, just keep the pattern. Everything will work out the way it's supposed to. If it doesn't, just instead of trying to figure it out, just go back and loosen it all back up and start again from the beginning. That's the easiest way to do it. So I think this will complete this part of it as far as the lacing goes. And if you want to know how to true the same wheel, watch the next part 2, and we'll cover how to true the thing. But this should be more representative of what this procedure is like. So thanks for going along on the ride. See you next video.